The next set of tools are the lassos. Now these tools so far, marquees, lassos, they've been there for a long time, but it doesn't mean they can't make really good selections. We've got some new selection methods I'm going to show you, I think going to blow you away, but these tools still work and you want to know them because you have an arsenal to work with. And when you look at an image and you say, okay, based on my knowledge of having all of these tools and knowing what I can do with them, this is the best method using a combination of selection methods that will give me the best selection in the shortest amount of time. Let's open an image. Go up to the word File on the pull-down menu and go down to Browse in Bridge. Go to 17 and double-click. And we will go into Camera Raw, and that's fine. Change one thing. Daylight. Because I pretty much believe it was daylight when that was taken. And click Open. Amtrak's train station. I believe this was in LA. Let's see what we can do with the lassos. Now, I don't have the lasso selected. That's right over here. I have the magic wand selected, or maybe something else selected. The shortcut, if you want to use it, is an obvious one, lasso equal L. And there you go. Now, if you click and hold, you can see we have three. We're going to talk about all three. But if you want to cycle through them, you can hold on the Shift key and press letter L and cycle through them. Sooner or later, as you work in these programs, you're going to get to the point where shortcuts are second nature, and that's when you really start running down that track, I want to tell you. Just the plain old lasso. Let's start with basics. If you look at our options, we have those four keys up here. Normal, add, subtract, and intersect. Use the shortcuts that we talked about in this chapter. It's a lot faster. We have a feathering option, which softens the edge. We have anti-aliasing, which I totally recommend you leave on in most cases. And we have refine edge, which is not on. It's grayed out because we don't have anything for it to refine right now. Now, the lasso tool is a what I call free-form, hand-eye coordination kind of tool. I can come over here anywhere I want, and I can click and begin dragging. Now, it's relying on my ability to maintain a steady hand on the mouse. So if I come over here and do something like this and then let go, it will make a beeline back to the genesis point. So we can keep this up all day long. But let me give you some tricks on how to use this tool. Let me go ahead, number one, and press Command on a Mac, Control on Windows D, as in deselect. I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to pretend like I'm selecting this area. And so I'm kind of weaving in and out up around the trees and everything like that. And I get to the point right here where if I want to go up the building, that's an architecturally straight line. But I don't think I'm that good to hold a freeform tool in a perfectly ruler straight line. So here's a trick for you. Reach over on your keyboard. You're still holding the mouse down. Hold down the Alt key, Option on a Mac, Alt in Windows. Now let go of the mouse. You have just changed to the polygonal tool. Don't hold the mouse down, just move it and then click and move over again to create straight lines. Come up here again, maybe like that. If you're working with buildings, most buildings are pretty much straight. Now let's say for the sake of argument, since we're just playing around right now, that you are ready to go back to free form. So you want to go back to your mouse and click and hold, and then let go of the Alt Option key, and you are back into freeform mode. So if you want to go from a freeform tool to a straight line tool, all you got to do is remember the Alt key in Windows, the Option key on a Mac. You let go of the mouse, you click and move to create your corners. Now let me go ahead and deselect that, Command or Control D. The next tool is the polygonal. Now that does straight lines. That's what it's designed to do. I can come over here, come back over here, click again, and I've got a triangle. I'm going to deselect that. If we want to reverse the procedure, I'm doing straight line stuff, but I'm getting into more nature, so I need something a little bit more freeform. Same idea. So I get right about here and click, and so I got straight line. And I put that line right about there, and I go, oh, we're into the trees now. I got to go freeform. You hold down the Alt key, Option key on a Mac, Alt in Windows, and then you click and you drag with your mouse. And if you want to go back into polygon, you let go of the Alt Option key. You can then let go of your mouse and move to different places. Now I want you to watch something else. My starting point was right here. See that circle come up? that means that you are over the genesis point. And if you click now with that circle, it actually will close that shape off. So I want you to look at it this way. We communicate with our computer through touchscreens, keyboards, drawing tablets, mice, etc. Photoshop is talking right back at you, and it's what the cursor looks like. There are over 270 different ways that cursor will look in Adobe Photoshop. If you watch the cursor, you will find out exactly what's going on as you work. I'm going to deselect. I lost that cursor and went to a precision cursor. And if I come over to my other tools, instead of seeing a magic wand, I see a precision tool. And now it's back to the magic wand or the lasso or whatever you have selected. And what did I do? I pressed the cap lock key. I can't tell you how many times my students have come up to me or I'm in a class lecturing and they'll say, Professor, sometimes I see the tool, but sometimes I see this crosshair thing and it's like, I don't know what I'm doing. You're pressing the cap lock key. That's a good thing because sometimes you get to the magic wand. You say, okay, when I click, what's the hot spot? It's the middle of that starburst at the end of the wand. But if I press the cap lock key down, I know exactly what's going to happen when I click. If you're in Windows, go to the word Edit. If you're in a Mac, go to Photoshop, go to Preferences, and go down to Cursors. In Cursors on the left, you can have a standard cursor. You can have precise, a normal brush tip, or a brush tip that even gives you the softer edge. You can tell the computer to show you a crosshair in the brush tip and show only the crosshair while you're painting. All other cursors can be standard or precise, and you can choose a brush preview over on the right. Now, I leave this alone, but there are other times when I want to see something precise. All I got to do is remember the cap lock key. Let's get out of here. We got one more tool I want to start talking about, and that is Magnetic Lasso. Now, we have the same 4 buttons on the left. We have a feathering option and anti-aliasing, but now we have 3 new things. Width, contrast, and frequency. This is a pretty interesting tool. I'm going to double click on the zoom tool. We're going to make that a little bit bigger. So I want to select this building right over here. Let me go back to the tool. The magnetic lasso is a magnet, but you have to understand we live in a 3-dimensional world where edges exist. In a 2-dimensional world, there is no real edge, but there's a shift in the brightness of the pixels, and that's what the magnet goes to. So if I come over here and click, say right about here, watch what happens when I begin drawing. Even though I'm weaving, it's staying on the edge. If you've got a good edge, I love this tool for that. It's amazing. Now the width option at the top says 10 pixels. That means I can weave 10 pixels before it starts looking for another place that I'm trying to go to. We've got good contrast right here, so we have no problem. But if it's a little bit less contrast between what you want and what you don't want, you can raise the contrast. And frequency is how often the anchors come up. See the anchors? They come up every so often. Frequency default is 57. Raise or lower the number to increase or decrease the number of anchor points as you go along. Here's another trick about this tool. Let's say you're going along like this, and let's go up here and go over here. You can go real fast. It keeps up with you. And you come over here and you do that. Oops, no, I went too far. There's an anchor point there, and I can't get past that anchor point. Hey, now I made another one. I got to start all over again. No, reach over on your keyboard and press on the Macintosh keyboard, the delete key, on the Windows keyboard, the backspace key, and you get rid of them. You can keep doing that and come right back in here and work. Now here's another one. Let's say for whatever reason you want to go where this tool won't take you because it thinks you want to stay on an edge and for whatever reason you don't want to. You can make your own anchors by tapping your mouse. Come right back over here and start all over again. The magnetic lasso is really cool to work with, and it is a great tool if you've got the contrast to support it. That's why we don't have one selection tool, because there are too many variables in a photograph. Let me go ahead and press the escape key that turns it off. We have 3 lassos. The regular old hand-eye coordination, go for it lasso. The polygon that does straight lines that we can reverse with the Alt-Option key. and the magnetic lasso that works on edges based on contrast. Know your tools and know how to use them. Let's move on.